Hello, my name is Jorge Argota, and I am the CEO and founder of Argota Marketing. Today, I wanted to talk to you about Google AdWords and how it can benefit your firm by generating high quality leads. Now, obviously, this video can be broken down into many different ways, but essentially, here today, I'm going to be talking about the budgeting, I'm going to talk about the integrations, and I'm going to be talking about the benefits and what's important for your firm. So, a lot of this, advertising on Google very much depends on the budget that you have. And the reason I say this is because a lot of the times attorneys will call me and they'll be like, "Oh, well, I only have a $1,000 budget or a $2,000 budget." And that's fine. You could run Google AdWords with that budget, but the problem is that you need to feed the right data points into Google for you to generate better leads. And I say this because a traditional CPC campaign can work and you can generate leads that way, but you're going to be very limited as to how often you're going to be able to show up and for which keywords you show up. Usually the ones that tend to convert better are more expensive. However, this isn't always true. So it really depends on who's doing the marketing and, again, the budget. And so I kind of wanted to give you an idea by showing you different examples to give you a better understanding of what I'm trying to convey. Okay, so here, for example, we have car accident lawyer, right? And this is for Florida specifically. You can see right here. And this is the cost, right? So a car accident lawyer near me averages for top of page would be 106. And then top of page at the first tier, it would dramatically increase in price. And so obviously, as you can see here, this matters a lot because the lower you are in the Google AdWords, in the SERPs, which is let me just pull up query. Here, I'll show you over here. So when you do a query, these are all sponsored ads, right? This is Google AdWords, this is Google AdWords, this is Google AdWords. And then below you have your Google local pack. Sometimes now the AI will pop up here in between and take that space where the local pack used to be. And then you have here the people also ask, so the knowledge graph, and you have here your regular SEO 10 spots, right? And so what happens is if you're bidding for top of page, right, it means you're popular. And the quality of leads will diminish as you go lower onto the totem pole. This isn't always true. This is from my experience. Usually people click up here at the top, assume that it's the best query for their results, and they click on it, they give a call, and usually the attorneys that get the first phone calls tend to be of higher quality. Whereas if you're more down over here, it means that these people already said no to their particular legal situation, and you're getting right now like the lower quality leads. So ideally you want to stay up top, either over here or over here. So first and second position is where you want to be. And why do I say this? Obviously you'd say, "Oh yeah, no, I want to be at the top." Yeah, no, that's great. I wish that would make sense. But a lot of the times advertising up top on the first is way more expensive, right? Way more expensive. You're looking at, 5 times the cost of what it would be to rank a little bit lower. So the way you do this is by understanding and analyzing data sets, looking at what's working and what isn't working, right? There's tools like What Converts that gives you that understanding of the leads that are coming in, what keyword terms are being used, and to kind of optimize for those keywords. So when people are looking for you, not only will you show up, but you'll also save some money. And, these clicks can start costing, it can get pretty expensive very quickly. And so you want to be in the in between around this section, which is a sweet spot. So that way, not only are you saving money for every click, but you're also generating high quality leads at the same time. And so that's the first idea. And then when we start diving into what is a CPC campaign and a CPA campaign and all these different campaigns, just for you to understand in simple terms, is what you want is to collect the data, right? And in this case here, we have a CRM, which again enables me to understand where the leads are coming in from. I can assign a value to particular leads, right? So here we have quote value, sales value. I can assign a particular value to a lead. So let's say they called in, it was a bad, it was a bad phone call, low quality, just, there was no damages present, or the statutes expired, or, whatever condition it may be from a legal aspect. I can assign a value. And so I tell Google, hey, this is a good lead, this is a bad one. And so now through this connection, through Google AdWords, I can start feeding that data into Google AdWords. Google AdWords in turn is going to find more leads similar to the profiles that I want those leads to be. And so obviously this takes time. And so going again to the budget, if we budget, 1,000 or 2,000, it's going to be little snippets of data that are going to be missing because it doesn't understand or comprehend the full scope of it. And so when you're dealing with accidents at high capacity, high numbers, right? These could potentially be $1 million cases. People are going to bid because it makes sense for their. And so my goal is to obviously reduce the cost, increase the amount of leads that you're getting or the quality of leads, right? And inevitably what your cost per case is, right? That's what we have to look at, is the case value, the cases coming in. And so that's essentially what I do. Just kind of like a quick recap of everything. Looking at Google AdWords, you want to stay in the in-between, right? Positions 1, 2, sometimes 3. Ideally 2 is a sweet spot because you're saving more money on the cost per click. And to feed these data sets into Google AdWords, collect that data, and then once we have enough data, convert it into a cost per acquisition campaign where it's generating similar leads like that consistently. Now, here's where a lot of agencies fail, is that they don't have the ability, time, dedication, or understanding to go through this. And as an attorney, you are also, your time is also important. You don't have time to sit here in front of a CRM, go through all your leads and, determine which one's a good one or a bad one, right? You'll probably get a really good lead, call me and say, hey, this lead was great. And then I'm like, okay, well, this one we can assign the highest value because it was a assigned case that the attorney took and it generated him money. And now, those things we can do because they're always few and far in between, right? There's only a handful of them you'll get a month. And, if you turn that into a year, it's maybe a dozen, it could be a couple dozen, who knows, depending on the budget, right? But the idea is to someone who understands from a legal aspect is to understand, okay, well, this one's good, this one's bad, and kind of filter that in between. And so that's why I have an advantage over most agencies. I'm not saying all the agencies don't do this. There might be some. I haven't come across any, but yeah, so that's just food for thought. If you're interested, please continue reading the content below. If you have any questions or concerns, I'm always available. Again, my name is George, and welcome to the website, and thank you very much for visiting.